Yes, people, welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. We're back on the Premier League Roundup show. Game week 12 has flown by, well, not quite, because the Mighty Hammers haven't played yet. But I hope you are all well. So the Premier League Roundup show. I'm joined by Shaun, and Shaun only this week. Unfortunately, Josh cannot join us. Shaun, how are you?
Really good, mate. Yeah, can't complain.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Hope you are all well in the chat. Like and subscribe to West Ham Unofficial. Check out our channel sponsors, SRM Carver and Son, by clicking the link in the description down below. Let's start Saturday lunchtime then. And the first shock of the weekend. There's plenty of them. Now, Nottingham Forest 1, Liverpool 0.
Yeah, well, Forest started becoming sort of a bit trickier to score against, haven't they? They sort of, I don't know whether it's slowly starting to click, but they look a bit more of a unit. And well, they look a bit more like a unit. Liverpool, one of many sides you just don't know what side's going to turn up. I think even the old Scouts has got a habit of sticking together a lot, but I think even Carragher started tearing into him a little bit on the commentary. I think he went in on Fabinho, was it? He went in on him. So yeah, so I don't know. It's like, but the starting lineup, it looked. Just look. Did they play 2 or 3 of their youngsters in the midfield with Milner? Is it Harvey Elliott? He was one of them. Played the other one as well. And I don't know. It just seems like a team. Some Liverpool fans have said the same to me. It almost feels like it has run its cycle a little bit, and they're trying to sort of patch it a little bit where they've lost 1 or 2, but then they sort of patch it. Maybe not patching it enough. But yeah, it's probably unfair to veer on the Liverpool. Really, it's a brilliant win for Forest, and but yeah, I think that did they go back on the bottom this afternoon? I can't remember.
But, let's have a look. Yes, they did. They are bottom on goal difference, but it's a massive boost for them. Where it was slowly going as if they weren't going to get many points on the board before the World Cup break, and they've pulled that out the bag. And you know what, fair play to them. And we all like Liverpool losing to a small side.
Yeah, they just. They've got a bit of fight about them. So if you've got a bit of fight about them, then it just tell you straight away that they're all fighting in the same corner for the manager. And yeah, I looked at the bottom. I've been looking at the bottom quite a lot lately. Kind of fans of a few different clubs, and I'm looking at it, trying to work out who's going, where it's going to happen, and it's hard because teams are getting points, and it doesn't take a lot.
I think it's way too early to be making any sort of calls like that. To be honest with you, we can at the start of the season by the stereotypical. I think Bournemouth will go down, Fulham and the rest of it. But and I think what sums up the Premier League table at the moment is that we're currently sat 2 points off the relegation zone, sat in 17th, and if we win tomorrow, we're in 10th. I think that just sums up the legitimacy and just the Premier League table at the moment. It's difficult to kind of tell.
I think what we've got a little bit as well. We've got a few clubs panicking and pulling the trigger early doors. Yeah. So we don't know whether. Like, obviously, we'll get on the Villa, but obviously we know what they did today. Obviously, you got Wolves who've said, I think they're going to leave their manager search till after the World Cup or something like that. Leave whoever's in charge now. He's going to take it to after the World Cup. So you just don't know what's going to come of these clubs. Where to get someone in, where they automatically they're not being a scrap, and then you've obviously got a couple of other clubs like Southampton and Leicester. Both their managers have been favourites to be sacked at various times. And then they start to pick up results, and it's weird. And I don't know. And then obviously they've got yourselves. I'm guessing. I think David Moyes must have been the longest serving manager at a club in the league now. I'd imagine, but he's got to be up there. I think the likes of Pep and Klopp, I think they're at the top now, and they've only been there like 7, 8 years. So
I think the whole just Premier League season is just going to be strange this season. As Dad says, another crazy season, and just with the we've talked about it many times, the World Cup being just plonked in the middle. Let's take some comments. Garrett, evening, we ain't played yet. Yeah, I've had a lovely weekend. Gary says, "Hi, Rich. Surprised Shaun showed up. What a week they've had. A bit of a nightmare of a week, but you're here."
And they're still. I was still third. Imagine supporting a club as third and get third and still booing the team off and can still qualify the knockout stage of the Champions League on Wednesday.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah. Arthur, I presume you're a Leeds fan. We want Bielsa back.
Wow, naive, very naive attitude that is. Christ.
James, thank you very much. Got a dash, but great show as always. And light, thank you very much. I was West Ham 2, Bournemouth 2. Oh, flipping hope not.
That won't be a very good result.
No. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, another one. Not really a shock, but I suppose the magnitude of it might be a little bit. Everton 3, Crystal Palace 0. Fat Frank seems to have turned Everton a bit, Shaun.
Yeah, they who beat them midweek? I'm sure they lost midweek to someone.
Oh, I'll have a look.
I know we got 2 game weeks where it almost blended in the one a bit here, but
yeah. So they lost to Newcastle, beat them.
Yeah, so I think with Everton, they're just very well organised. I don't think they've got a bad little midfield trio. They've got going there. Iwobi's playing very well. Everton were actually mocked when they spent an absolute bomb. Was it like 30 million they paid Arsenal for him? So they were mocked when they did that. But he is having a good season. So I think Calvert-Lewin scored as well. Did he? He
come back.
Yeah. So I said last week, it surprised me, Frank, how organised he's got them. Yeah, very, very good win. Palace, I just don't know. I think I said before, I was expecting Vieira them just to kick on a little, but last year they were very, very inconsistent, chucked away a lot of games late. And this season, again, you just don't know what you're going to get. And I know they haven't Conor Gallagher. I don't know, he might as well go back there. But yeah, it's a brilliant win for Everton. And I actually tipped Everton to be one of the sides going down. I hold my hands up and say I think that was a mistake. I just didn't see Frank lasting. I didn't see him gelling this team.
I think we all thought that, to be honest.
No, I said I was at the game when Spurs played Everton last season. It was 5-0, and it could have been more. I looked at it and I thought, I just don't see a team here at all. I thought they were going to go down last year. I was surprised they kept them up. Well, they weren't about 10 minutes from going down. They were 2-1 down at home, and they come back and got a 3-2. So that's how close it can be. And this year, fair play, they're obviously behind him. He's done better. He's lasted longer than Gerrard. So
I think a massive part of it is the signings they've made. They've brought in Onana in midfield, who I think has been class, and the big thing for me is they've brought in some experienced names at the back as well, the likes of Tarkowski and is it Ben Mee they've brought in as well. You know, they've got some experience. Yeah, they're not the most glamorous, but they're experienced Premier League centre backs, and you know what you're going to get with them.
I think they've got Tarkowski and Connor Cody centre back partnership, haven't they? Yeah. And I've read the other day they reckon it's turned into one of the partnerships in the league. So I think a lot of clubs. I don't. Are both of them about 30? I don't know. They're not over.
Yeah, they're not young, are they?
But they're not over the hill sort of age, and I think they're both picked up on frees. Were they? Did Cody come on a free as well?
I think so. Yeah, we'll have a look. Connor Cody is. Christ, 1993. You're testing me maths now, Google. What's that? 2022 minus 1993. 29. Yeah, well done.
Yeah. But that's for free transfers. I know we're all saying it now in hindsight, because probably none of us sat there thinking, they'd be shrewd purchases. But I think they're both frees. I know Tarkowski run his deal down, didn't he, last year?
Yeah.
For them to both go in, I think they're both around that same age. It's looking quite shrewd, really. And you look at other clubs around sort of Everton's level, maybe a bit above, and you think, they could do with an experienced Premier League centre half. I think they've both probably got about between 5 to 10 England caps each. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now you look at it 3 months on, you think, that you can see what he was doing there. So,
and in terms of Crystal Palace, I mean, I just don't know. They're a strange old side who seem to pick up brilliant results and then go and get battered by Everton. I don't know with them. Vieira's a strange one, and they go down as a side that I just seem to forget really exists at times.
What you might find I don't know their record in the last few seasons with Palace, because their home fans one of the best in the league. You go there, they are a noisy bunch usually if they're doing well. So you might find that they're a totally different side away from home. You might find that season go. So anyone that likes to gamble, don't back him away.
Arthur says you never know with results. Look at this weekend: Forest, Southampton, Newcastle. Newcastle got their act together. We'll talk about that game a little bit later on because there's different perspectives with it, and there's plenty of decisions and controversy to discuss. So we're going to fire through the rest of these, and then we've got a Spurs game and a West Ham game to talk about. Oh, just press the cam off button, Shaun. You must just flicked it down at the bottom. There we go.
Trying to do a runner.
Man City 3, Brighton 1 is next up. I think the big surprise from this one is Haaland didn't convert a brace to a hat trick.
No, was it him that got brought down for like a penalty decision? I seen the replay. It did look like a penalty. It's just standard.
Is what it is, isn't it?
It's standard City win, wasn't it? Like, I think Brighton, they can outplay a lot of teams. Obviously, you're not going. If you try and play the pretty football, you're not going to do it against City, really. If you're going to beat City, it's usually got to be on a counter-attack sort of style, a bit like a Liverpool or Spurs have done in the past. You've got to sort of catch them on the hop a little bit, haven't you? If you try and outpass them, then I don't think you're going to manage to do it. At least Brighton scored. I think that's the first. Is it 1 goal in 4 games in the?
Yeah.
I think that I'm sure I see something like they've had something like 70 odd shots in the first 3 games and not scored.
They've got this new manager in 4 or 5 games they've scored 1 goal or something.
Yeah. I don't think Brighton would be dragged into it. I think they're a well-owned club, well-run, and I think the appointment would probably work out quite a good one. They're not a sort of club I see would get the appointment wrong. Do you know what I mean? I think they made the appointment quite quick as well. So, yeah, there's not a lot to say about this. It's a City win. I think that obviously with the Arsenal result today, it crept them, closed the gap back up after losing the week. So yeah, good win. That's all I can say on that.
Yeah, just going back to players rely on Zaha too much. They've tried to get a few other players in that Elise at times last season he ripped us to pieces away from home, but they haven't really just got those players there apart from Zaha when you look at it. Josh says, we're never a pen on Bernardo, in my opinion. He knew what he was doing. That VAR silly again. The Haaland one was a penalty, and they never give that, but they give the one that's not. To be fair, I haven't even seen them, so yeah, I'll take your word for it. It does not surprise me one bit. But next up, we've got Chelsea 1, Man United 1, a game that always seems to end as a draw. There was another penalty decision in this game. Potter changed things sharpish when it wasn't going too well, and it ended in a 1-1 draw, Shaun.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I found this game a bit dull. I was watching it, and
but
myself.
You don't like watching Chelsea, do you, Shaun?
No, I don't. But I'm a bit. I'm a fan of Potter, as a lot of people are. I know he's only just got there, but didn't find it very exciting to watch. I think Chelsea only had 2 shots on target in the whole game, and it being at home. I thought Aubameyang I know they haven't got a striker. He just looks like a spare part, like he's not up to speed to me up front. Do you know what I mean? I think he's only there. I'm sure I read as well that he's already come out and said that he wants to go to PSG. So it's just a bit of a daft one.
Do you think it was a bit more of a up yours Arsenal than anything else?
Maybe. I'm not a fan. I know they've got a new owners, but it was just never like, let's just chuck a fortune at someone and get him in. I'm trying to remember the penalty now. I remember watching it thinking, oh yeah, he almost grabbed him, didn't he?
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
like
that's the point. Last week, because we had to cut it short with your game, because we didn't actually cover the decision where, was it Souček was grabbed? Yeah, so this one was similar. It was, and I think I said, and I know we always bang on about when decisions are right and wrong, we want consistency. The one last week, and it sounds ridiculous, I think the reason why you didn't get it is because it almost looked like he was diving for the header.
He was going on the way down.
Yeah, so it looked like he wasn't necessarily looking for the foul. He was trying to still head it out of someone's arms.
I think it's similar as well, because you look at it and the one thing I think we've got on that one was it looks like that he's more, he's got more around him, and he was kind of leaning into Souček as well and going down with him. I think he was going for the header as well, but I did think the defender took him down as well. Listen, it's stupid, and these need to be given more as penalties, I think.
But again, what ground was out last week? Remind me, was it your place?
No, St Mary's.
St Mary's. I can remember seeing. I say this quite often. I didn't see many good camera angles of that Souček one.
No.
Whereas one at Stamford Bridge, you seem to have a couple more. And I think where the refs and VAR have got to be careful on this grabbing in the box, because it can be very 6 of one, a half dozen of the other. So, do you know what I mean? One's grabbing one, then the other one's grabbing. So then it's like, well, you can't really give it. The McTominay one, he just
that's the kind of camera angle that people were giving there. So that's the 2 up.
Yeah. I don't think yours is a very good angle, to be honest. No. I just don't think, and the fact that he actually made a bit of effort to try and get out of his arms to win the header, that probably does the decision no favours, in my opinion. I think if he just goes with the grabbing and just naturally see what happened, you might have had a better chance. But because he tried to go for it, but McTominay, he looked like a fool on his, because I think I don't know, it might even be in some stadiums the cameras are set up higher. So at Stamford Bridge,
and they've probably got more of them as well.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think there's a set rule. There's only got to be something like 12 around the pitch or something. It's pathetic. So if the one at Stamford Bridge is set 10 foot higher, you might get a better angle of it. And like I said, that picture you showed there, again, it looks zoomed in, then it gets blurry. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
But do you think Man United deserved the point?
I thought it was an even game. I thought it was destined for a 0-0, to be honest. It wasn't great, and they got a point away from home against a fellow top 6 side, and not many teams have done that this season. Like, I think before that, the only team to get a point away was Tottenham at Chelsea. Like, do you know what I mean? Everyone seems to be beating each other at home. So, yeah, a draw was fair. I would have had it as a 0-0 because I didn't think either team really deserved to score, to be honest with you. But
yeah, another hyped up game that ended up pretty dull. I think that's fair. You know, I'm pretty glad that I was that I didn't watch it. I was on the way home from watching the mighty QPR, and you know, that was more exciting than that. I'm sure it was. But let's move into Sunday's action then. You know, they get rid of Gerrard. The shackles open up, and you know, we've been talking all week. What are Villa going to do? Just turn up and beat Brentford 4-0.
Yeah, it's probably one of these situations. And I did read. I can't remember his next player. It might have been the lovely Stan Collymore on Twitter. I can't remember. Almost suggested the moment that Gerrard stripped Tyrone Mings of the captaincy, he almost lost a lot of respect to the players. It's almost like, it might be wrong, but almost like a manager come in and tried to be an old school sort of boss. Do you know what I mean? Stamp his authority. I'm in charge. I'm doing this. And sometimes you just can't get away with that in this Premier League nowadays. You have got to be a bit more subtle while you do things. So, but whether that's the case or not, I don't know. Obviously, the manager at QPR, is it Bill? He was Gerrard's assistant at Villa and at Rangers, and a lot of people say he was the brains behind it. So the moment that I was told that by a Rangers fan as well when he come down.
That's a good point as well, because he went to QPR, then it all went up the wall at Villa.
Yeah, I was told when it was he was the one behind the scenes for all the tactics, all this, and he leaves and they looks like they've got no ideas. But let's be honest, for about the last 6-7 games, Villa have stunk the place out when they're playing. So I don't know. Just if the players weren't having Gerrard and he's gone, it can instantly put a smile on the players, can't it? It can instantly do it. And Brentford are a bit like Palace, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a strange offside, aren't they?
You don't know what's going to happen. I think I'm just guessing this, but I've got a feeling Brentford are probably a far better side at home.
Home advantage.
Do you know what I mean? They got the little stadium, a bit like Palace, all those ones new, ones old. Go away from home, bigger stadium, proper support behind them.
Yeah.
And then they just get taken apart. I know Clive was at the game and he said, obviously on Facebook, they're actually absolutely shocking. I don't know. It's still a lot of not Prem-proven players on that side in Brentford. So maybe some games, mentally, it just gets on top of them and they just, away from home, and they just crumble. But we quite often see this, don't we? A manager goes, they get a little reaction. I couldn't even tell you who was in charge of the team today, to be honest.
Neither could I. Well, the big question is, what's next for Gerrard? Obviously, it was a step from... the step was from Villa to the pool. The only pool he's going to now is Hartlepool. But you know, credit Darren Farley for that. That's not my joke. You know, I don't make jokes. I just look at them and then reproduce them.
I think Liverpool fans had that little dream that the homecoming would come after Klopp, didn't they? That's what they.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, don't even bet against it still happening, because you know what they're like.
I tell you what, if that happens, that'll make my day. Honestly, he's going to go back up to Rangers, back to Livingston away for a couple of years, and he's going to come back. And he's going to get the Liverpool job.
It's tricky. What do you do? Like, these players and ex-players, they got egos. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's done a Gary Neville. I think he's done, managerial wise.
I can't call it, to be honest. I honestly don't know. like I said,
Who would employ him though after that? That's the thing.
he'd get a job. It's just this ego thing, isn't it? And
Yeah.
obviously, if it was this assistant Bill who's got QPR now, if the fans know it, people in football who know more than us or are meant to, they'll know it as well. So he's going to have to build a backroom staff behind him again, who can help him. Villa didn't really trust him with that much money. That's a bit of a myth. I think he was there. I think it's something like a 33 million net spend whilst he was there. I know he sold Grealish. Did he sell? No, he didn't sell Grealish when he was there. That's a lie. So it's a 33 million net spend. So it's not a lot, and I don't know where he's going to end up. Apparently, Pochettino's already said no, thank you to Villa, so that's probably not an option for them. I don't know where Joe will resurface. That's the honest answer there.
Yeah. Next up, a game that's probably put Jesse Marsch on the brink of the sack. Leeds 2, Fulham 3. Your favourites again. I've done it again, Shaun.
Yeah, I've called it for a while. I think I did say to my mate, I looked at the fixture and said, you'll be in the bottom 3 by the time the World Cup starts. And he's like, no way, no way. Well, they're there already. And I think I looked at 3 games ago, I looked at the next 4 and I said, you'll be lucky to get 4 points out of that. And he said 7. And I think they're on no points out of the last 3 because obviously Fulham beat them. They lost in the week to Leicester. I think the problem with Leeds, but I think they're booed off as well. A lot of the fans aren't having this manager already. They've got to be a little bit careful because the owners, not sure they're that clued up what they're doing. I think they had Bielsa and they already had this Marsch lined up for the start of the season. Obviously, they brought him in early when Bielsa was sacked because they liked the style of football. Like watching Marsch, it's not that dissimilar to watching Bielsa. Maybe a bit less erratic, but they're just as open. But I think they like that high pressing, all out gun ho sort of football. But this year, obviously, they've got Rafinha, who might get them 10 points a season on the wing. I have noticed the Marsch as well. I've been obviously when I always check team lineups. He's starting to chop and change a lot. That's a bad sign for me. I think,
and they haven't won since they beat Chelsea on the 21st of August.
Yeah, they haven't won. The problem is defense looks poor. I don't know if you've seen the goals today, but one of them, a midfielder, just wandered into the free header about 8 yards out. It was shocking. And going forward, they have bought a couple of good players. I do like Aronson. Sinister is a good winger, very talented. Yeah. Jack Harrison, I think he's a good player, but he's a bit more of an old-fashioned winger. Do you know what I mean? It's not often we see a left winger now, is it? They're more like attacking. It's not often to see a winger go to the byline and whip it in. You don't see that. They've got 4 strikers. Bamford looks as rusty as they come. But like I said, the last 2 or 3 games, I think it's signs of a manager he's panicking when he's making a lot of changes. Like Cooper, the centre back, sometimes a captain. He was dropped in the week. He's back in today. They brought Luke Ayling in today and dropped the Danish right back they bought. Do you know what I mean? Today, Rodrigo back up front. A couple of games ago, we had Bamford up front. Rodrigo in the attacking midfield. He's changing it a lot, and that's never
a good. Know anywhere near his first.
It's never a good sign for me. It's never a good sign, and I think they've got Liverpool away next up as well. But I think after that they have got Forest and then Wolves. But
Fulham keep pottering on.
Yeah, good. I think when you played them, we won't go back too far. Obviously, you got your decisions. Help you get the win, but you were lucky enough to play him, and they didn't have Mitrovic as well.
Yeah.
He just takes them to another level. Really, it's just a bit like Callum. And I've said a few times, it's just the presence. Do you know what I mean? It's just if you've got a handful up front, it's going to scare centre halves. Do you know what I mean? It's simple as that. And they've got good midfielders as well. It's not all about Haaland. Is it Palhinha? Is it they've got? I know they've got Willian in there. He's a bit
experience, you know.
Yeah, I just rate them. I think they're good. I think they're a good side. I don't think they'll be anywhere near the bottom. I actually think I haven't got the. I did read before I come on. They're up to 7th now.
Yeah, they are.
So good side. Leeds. I don't see him get anything from Liverpool at all. I'm in no doubt at all that he'll chop and change it again. If he's got a brain, which I'm not sure these Leeds managers do, he'll just try and keep the score down. Just try and play it very tight. Be very, very boring. Sometimes if you're poor and you're on a bad run of form, be boring. Just try and get the show back on the road by being dull. bit like Forest. We said about them getting their act together. I think they had a couple of fortunate 0-0s where they were battered a bit, but they hung on. Eventually, you hung on, you get your team spirit up, and they would go and beat Liverpool a couple of games later. So just trying to outrun everyone every single game. I just think it's a bit of a naive attitude in the Premier League. It's not that simple.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know where it changes for Leeds, to be honest. I wouldn't like to be a Leeds fan right now because I don't know when it changes and how it changes, most importantly. Tracy, I hope you are well. See, Shaun, it's raining outside, and I know it's exactly what you say when you come on every single Sunday or Monday. It's the perfect weather to curl up and listen to your favourite West Ham channel.
Is it West Ham channel or is it a QPR channel?
Just one game, all right. Calm down, Shaun.
Come on, you R's. I heard a few times. I don't know what people are making of that, but
you got to get in the atmosphere, aren't you?
All right. How many London teams are you going to support?
No, they're not in our league. Don't worry about that. They're not in our league, and they're not going to get up. Not yet. You reckon?
Well, and I'm not saying which one's going to go up or down either. But...
Oh, thanks, Shaun. Thanks. Next up, let's go to the South Coast. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. There's plenty of decisions that Arsenal fans have been moaning about today.
Yeah, I bet they are. I told you their luck would run out. I didn't think they got battered a bit at Leeds, who can't let a barn door, and they had all the decisions versus Liverpool the game before that. So for them, I had a feeling Southampton would get something today. This was no shock to me whatsoever. Arsenal did what they always do. They come flying out the traps. Run, pass. Play very pretty, exciting, fast football. If you can hang on long enough and stay in the game long enough, they will still creak. And that's exactly what happened. You just got to keep pushing. And I think the Southampton carved them open very nice to the goal. I noticed. I've only seen a couple of decisions. I think the Saka one was definite dive. I think it was a shocking dive. I thought it was a booking all day long. He literally just chucked his foot into the tackle. I think I was actually quite glad that was spotted. I know there's people say things like he looked for things or a striker played for the foul, played for the pen. I don't think it was any of that. I think he literally just put his leg out. As soon as your leg goes outwards towards the defender, you're playing for it.
And it was nice to see as well, that Walcott one. That was the definite dive as well,
Yeah.
It's nice to see him getting called up.
Yeah, if it is a dive, because the clever strikers, they know how to do it and make it. It could be a foul. But if you could look at a foul by the clever striker, you think, oh, we're not sure. In his head, he knows what he's doing. But if you're not sure, then you've got a chance. And that's not cheating if it's like that. But if you chuck your legs out or go to ground with no contact at all, then that's different altogether. So, but yeah, this doesn't surprise me at all. I think got a funny feeling Arsenal have got another easy. I think they might have Forest coming up next, maybe. But yeah, this doesn't surprise me. Arsenal have been riding their luck a little bit. So
yeah, they got Forest at home next, then Chelsea away.
Yeah, so I know they opened up a 4-point lead, didn't they, in the week?
Yeah.
And obviously City have come back, so it's like a 2-point gap now, is there, or something? Yeah, matter of time before City go past, I think. I just don't. I think if you can ride the Arsenal storm for an hour, you've got a chance. I think they got a good hour, and then once the plan A you can sort of see it running out. Do you know what I mean? And I still don't think they've got a plan B. So once Southampton scored, I thought they were a better team.
Yeah, they were.
So. Yeah, Arsenal, they're one of the better sides in the league, Arsenal, but they're not blowing me away. Like, I wouldn't get overly excited about
them. Gooner's great first half, lucky to hold on in the end. Yeah, and they have got, they do play some very nice and good football.
But they did that at Leeds.
Get past them.
They did that at Leeds. They only scored at Leeds because I can't remember what it was, but it was a howler. It was a howler, and it gifted him a goal. And then it was all Leeds, but we know with
chaos
Leeds,
at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we know with Leeds, you can let Leeds have the ball, can't you? So
yeah,
but yeah, I think Arsenal will be like this all season. Like I said, give them. I don't know if you haven't played him yet, have you?
No, Boxing Day we got on.
Yeah, so if you can hang on for an hour, then they sort of run out of steam a little bit, I think.
But that's what you did, wasn't it? Hold on for an hour and then go and beat him.
When was that? What game?
Your game was a joke.
Oh, oh yeah, sort
Next up, a Midlands derby and another shock result. I think Wolves 0. Leicester. It's a funny old side, Leicester, aren't they? Because they go and play awful, then they go and beat one side 3-0 the other week, and then they beat Wolves 4-0. Wolves, I don't know what's going on there as well.
Did you see the match stats for this one?
I didn't know.
Just get the match. I don't know what sort of game it was. Obviously, you know the score. Look at like the shots and target and possession and all that malarkey.
Well, we'll just talk whilst I find that on that.
Yeah, they are funny. So like, I don't think they've ever not been good going forward, but I think solid it up at the back. I think obviously they beat Leeds in the week as well. I thought they're quite still good at going forward, but this game, you got the stats yet?
2 seconds, hang on.
Come on.
You're testing me.
But yeah, I think the case for Maddison was made again. One I think because he was suspended for the Leeds game in the week, but this one he's come back in. I think the stats like massively in favour of Wolves or something ridiculous.
What sort of stats do you want?
What's the possession, which is not always relevant, but go with that
61 to Wolves, 38 Leicester.
How many shots did Wolves have to Leicester?
5 to Wolves, 4 to Leicester. 4 shots on target and 4 goals for Leicester.
Yeah. Was that their shots on target or just their shots for Wolves?
That was shots on target. So Leicester had 5 shots and 4 shots on target and 4 goals.
Yeah, I don't know. Wolves are a bit like Brighton, aren't they? They can play really loads of nice football. I don't know if Matey Boy's playing up front yet. What's his name?
Diego Costa.
Yeah, I forget his name. I don't. Has he played much so far?
I think he played about 70 minutes today.
Did he? I think. Yeah, Wolves are a little bit like a Brighton. I think they've got some good, pretty midfielders. They always like Moutinho and all of that in midfield, Neves and all that. They can play nice stuff, and when it comes to the crunch, they just don't score enough. I think even Traore scored in the week, didn't he? And he sort of get with like kissing his wrist or something. I think that was his first goal in like 18 months or something like that. But yeah, great win. But yeah, if you take your chances, you win games, don't you? But to take nearly every chance.
Fair play. Wolves in trouble and Leicester. Well, Leicester are just a funny team, aren't they? Right, let's move on to the main event times. Well, -1 because we've got our game yet. Spurs 2, Newcastle 1. Before I let you fire away, Shaun, what I will say is we give VAR a lot of criticism, but I thought they got both decisions or 2 big decisions right today. I thought they got the Newcastle Callum Wilson Lloris decision right, and I think they got the Harry Kane goal right as well. I didn't think that should have been disallowed. Funny game, I think.
Yeah, I agree with both decisions were correct. Obviously, we lost to United in the week as well. That could have been 4 or 5.
It's been a bit of a shambolic week, isn't it?
The concern with me and a lot of fans is mentality at the moment. Something's gone astray with the mentality a bit because I can take it back to the last Champions League game. We come out the blocks at home, played really well. I was really impressed with us in the Champions League. We went 1-0 down, so the mentality then to come back was good. And we went 3-1 up. Then Conte made a lot of random subs with 10 minutes to go, and they scored. Then we had a penalty, missed it. And from us playing really well for like 75 minutes, it felt like our backsides had went and we were hanging on for dear life. So then that was our thing. How did that? I was enjoying the whole game. It was a great performance. Then all of a sudden you come away from it, even though we won, thinking, I didn't like that. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then against United in the week, I really don't know what the game plan was at all. Can't put my finger on it. We sat back too much, invited them on, hung on to half-time in that, and then whatever our team thought we had at half-time, their deflected goal went in. And then you might want a bit of a reaction. There was no reaction. So that the mentality there is just a bit odd. That brings us on to today. I don't know what minute the goal went in, to be honest, the first one. But I was actually quite impressed with us. I thought we had 3 or 4 good chances. Son had 2. I think he had 3.
Just over the half-hour mark. Wilson
I thought we were quite good for about 20, 30 minutes. I like the balance in the midfield. It's a lot better than the United game. And then obviously Lloris gifted them the goal, and then it was just nothing.
Poor start to the season, Lloris, isn't he?
Well, he was the best player on the pitch in the week. So he
I didn't
was.
watch it. I was watching the best club in London.
He was. Well, yeah, he kept the score down in the week. So and he made 3 or 4 like worldies, and he was the only one to walk off the pitch with any credit, to be honest. But this game, he sort of. Yeah, I don't think Newcastle for anything special, put it that way. I wouldn't come away thinking, oh, they're brilliant, blah, blah. I don't think they win the game without those mistakes. I think I wouldn't surprise if it ground to 0-0 or they might have edged it with a goal, but it's the reaction from Tottenham at the moment. It's not good enough. Like to do that and then Laurie sort of poor kick out in an area where Sessegnon gets beat for the header and then it's 1-on-1. Do you know what I mean? So you got a goal kick, then you got someone running at you 1-on-1. So I blame Lloris a bit for that as well. So then it's 2-0. And there was just no reaction. So then, second half, we got the goal. We got a goal. Again, yeah, it should have stood. I don't think Sanchez even flicked it. So we want a question of offside. Got the goal. Then you think, right, front foot, let's go again. Still nothing. And the subs were strange. Conte tried 3 different formations during the game. We look like a side a little bit, and I know we've got 6 games to go that are crying out for the World Cup to start and have a break.
Mm.
We up the third, we'll probably drop down 1 or 2 places when a few games in hand kick in. We take out 4, probably keep. We've got 4 big injuries now, and we've missed Kulusevski massively. The balance he gives us when we counter, when we haven't, he's just got that like bit of guile in his game. Do you know what I mean?
And I think as well, I looked at the lineup. I looked at it and went down and went, I don't see these attacking players till really I got to maybe Bentancur, Basuma, Son and Kane. I was like, well, that's Son and Kane, the 2 recognisable attacking players. I know Skip pushed up at times as well, but it just seems like, and Mike says it, Spurs back 8, not on it today, but Newcastle looking good. I didn't think Spurs, set up attacking wise at home at all. I thought it was a bit strange. And I thought they was weak for Spurs.
It is. If you look at the names on the team sheet, but I thought we were very attacking first 30 minutes. The wing backs were flying up the field. Skip was joining the attack. I really liked the balance with Skip, Bentancur, and Basuma. I thought that was the best. Conte doesn't really want to play midfield 3. He doesn't. Okay. But that's the best of midfield 3s. Look, the first 30 minutes, and then we just caved. Didn't think it's not always about stats, but the stats are very even in the game. Newcastle, they didn't have to do a lot. They were gifted. I thought the second goal was a good little run and finish, but it was poor kick out. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be better than that. So I put a lot of the blame.
I think if Son scores that 1-on-1, you win the game. But
yeah, he was a bit soft to try and just dink it over Pope in the early. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do a bit better than that. It was a strange game, but Newcastle, I wouldn't come away from the game thinking Newcastle are really good. So I didn't really see they are playing well. I do rate Newcastle, and they're not going to go away in the European hunt. But I wouldn't come away from that thinking they're really good. Just think, Tottenham's you've got to have more fight. We've got another European game in the week, so they've got to see it again. But obviously Kulusevski's out, Richarlison's out, Romero and Højbjerg both missing today. The back 3 was shocking today as well. Like,
I kind of see what you mean when you take Romero out of that.
Well, something I don't like ever is Davinson Sanchez playing behind or next to Emerson Royale because they've both got a rick in them. All right, I don't mind. Longley's not been a bad player on the left, but I don't think that back 3's even played together yet. So if you've got a back 3 that haven't played together yet, and you bring it in and you're playing a midfield 3, which Conte don't really want to play, he's putting a lot of square pegs around holes. How he wants to play it at the moment.
Yeah,
I don't.
I thought it struck kind of a team that was just kind of bished and bashed and bossed
together. We looked a bit tired. What I will say, and I don't know if this is a bit of a myth, but it was a respectable journalist said it, that he has been told that, I don't know if a lot of coaches are doing this. Obviously, it's going to be a weird season, very weird season, and Conte's expecting a lot of burnout from.
Oh, Shaun has just flicked himself off. I'm sure we'll get back to him in a second. Whilst we do that, we've got West Ham versus Bournemouth coming up next. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to West Ham Unofficial if you haven't already. Skip looked good, yeah. I thought he did look good. I thought he progressed through well at times, and he's definitely a player that will push on and a mainstay in the Spurs side before we move on. Shaun, Skip.
Well, yeah, I think when we first started doing these shows, I used to bang the Skip drum quite a lot, didn't I? But yeah, he's had a lot of injuries. I think that's his first start since January. That's Tottenham's first home defeat since the end of March, mind that was. So it's never good to lose, and it's very bad timing after that United thing. And it's the reaction that we got out of. And I thought we had a reaction first 30, but then again the mentality dipped off. If we go 1-0 down in Europe, I think we got, is it home Sport in Lisbon we got? I can't remember. But if we go 1-0 down early, you need a reaction then. But yeah, it was a strange game. Nothing went right for Spurs, let's be honest. And yeah, they've got to grow up and brush themselves down a little bit and go again, because the games are not going to stop coming thick and fast.
Well, there we go. Let's move on, shall we? To the game tomorrow night. Again, that probably should have been played today, but that's a whole nother debate. West Ham versus Bournemouth. Yeah. I know earlier on, Shaun, you put on something about I hope you didn't say you should be beating this side, but I'm going to say it. We should be beating this side. Just like you said, you should be beating Newcastle at home.
I didn't say that. Did it say it, did I? Did it say that?
On Twitter, I thought you did.
Oh, I don't know. Might have done.
I think you did. Bournemouth at home, I'd expect us to pick up 3 points. Let me say that. I want to see a statement from David Moyes at whatever time, 6:45 tomorrow night. I want to see some changes. I want to see Ben Rama starting. I want to see Fornals put on the bench. I want to see hopefully Paqueta if he's fit. We've seen the Instagram post and Twitter post of him saying he's back in training. So hopefully we'll see whether he's fit enough. And Cornet as well, who we saw was back on the grass today, as we saw that on West Ham Twitter as well. So he might be in with the shout. But I just want to see a reaction after an unfortunate week where we only got a point down at Southampton. Stop smiling, Shaun. And we lost to Liverpool, which was unfortunate. So yeah, I just want to see a reaction and get the 3 points. No real drama, please. Let's just try and get this done. Bournemouth, they are on a relatively good run of form up until they lost to Southampton, where a lot of Bournemouth fans said they were really, really poor that night. They've been unbeaten under Gary O'Neill, so that's something to take into consideration. They're a good side, and they've played well at the start of this season, but we can get at them, and we've got to start well. We've scored 2 goals so far in the first half this season. 2 goals in every single 45 minutes of every single game this season. We scored just 2. That needs to change tomorrow. We need to get at them early. Let's not sit back and let them dictate how they want to play and perhaps nick a goal and then park the bus. We don't want that at all. Let's get at them. Let's score the first goal. Let's go and score a second and third and go and win the game. Shaun?
You sound like you're picking about 14 players there, aren't you?
No. I just want to see some changes there. I want to see Ben Rama out on the left, perhaps Paqueta or Cornet, or just some changes. That's all I'll say.
So you're still going with the wing backs, are you? Is that what you think?
I hope not.
Well, I know we were talking about Leeds a bit earlier. You just said I want changes. Well, I think a lot of West Ham fans seem to be saying that every week. I want changes. And I don't know whether some of them are forced changes because you haven't got many fit defenders.
Yeah. The kind of whole back 5 thing was, I thought, to protect Creswell from some pace on Wednesday, and as well to play some players in different positions, and because Moyes goes away from home to most big 6 sides, and he does historically like to play a back 5. He does in, I'd say, probably 75% of the games we play against these big 6 sides. We can't be playing a back 5.
Have you got 2 proper? Because I only watched an hour of you against Liverpool in the week. First half, I thought you looked very leggy, very poor. and especially a defence, I thought you got tore apart too much. Even Zuma, I thought he just looked a bit leggy. I just didn't look very sharp. I don't think Karen, I think he's a right back all day long.
Yeah, he's a right
I
back.
think he can get dragged out of position too easily in the middle.
Mm.
So if you got two genuinely fit two centre backs that you can play a back four.
Well, hopefully that's what we're going to have. Yeah, obviously we've got Zuma there, and we're not sure on Dawson. We think he's fit, but we're not sure. I don't know. Moyes hasn't really mentioned him, so I don't know. But I do think Moyes still has trust to put Kehrer in a back four as the second centre back. I still think he'll do that. He is a right back. He plays for Germany as a right back. He's Germany's first choice right back. So he is better in that position, and he's shown that when he's played it there. But I still think Moyes will play in there, because I think playing a back five, and there's no back three with West Ham, it is a back five, and playing that at home to Bournemouth, I think is just
I know better both that back five against Liverpool. It was like Creswell was left centre back, wasn't he? Was he left centre back? I was like, oh blimey, because he was trying to keep Salah quiet first half. I think.
Because the whole thing is that just to tuck Creswell in a bit and just so he's not exposed as much as the left back. That's the whole idea, we think, that goes with that. But do you think we'll win?
I don't. What I don't like the saying is we've got to be beating this side, because I've been hearing not just yourself but a lot of West Ham fans saying that for weeks and weeks. I think you said it against Southampton. I think you said it against Fulham. These are all, and I just come back and said these are 50-50 games. And they were 50-50 games. And I think you won one by the skin of your teeth. And was it Drew? Did you ever win at Southampton? Did you draw at Southampton?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you know what I mean? So they are 50. This one, it's a weird one to call. Like, if I said to you name 5 Bournemouth players, I bet you're struggling. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at with Bournemouth. I haven't really seen Bournemouth play, to be honest with you. Maybe that's a snob in me. I can't even remember them being advertised to be on the telly. So, do you know what I mean? So
it is strange, because I was like, this doesn't, if there's going to be a game to put on a Monday night, I know you've got to play Champions League, but you think it's going to be more of a Spurs Newcastle sort of game, not a West Ham Bournemouth. That's not really,
That's another point though, because you've been a Europa variation side for the last 2 seasons. You've got to put up with this nonsense. Sunday afternoon, Monday. It's
Monday, Thursday. Come on, they wouldn't do that to Tottenham. Have they done it to Tottenham? Monday, Thursday when you play in Europa, or
it's been so long since we've been in that rubbish. I can't remember.
Well, you dropped down into that conference for a year, didn't you?
Well, we were in it for about 2 months, then we pulled ourselves out. I got a funny feeling the Sky stopped doing the Monday night games for a few years, didn't they? I got a funny feeling they've only brought it back about 2-3 seasons ago, because it used to, when you were probably still in nappies when the Premier League started. The Monday night game was one of the big ones of the week. Like no one was.
I prefer it to be a Friday night. Friday night I think it's better than a Monday, because Monday night everybody's just back to work, let's just go. But Friday night, weekend's done. Get onto it.
Friday night games would be nice if you win, because then you can just sit back and casually look at the rest of the results come in.
Or just put them all Saturday 3:00 and a couple on Sunday.
But you've more or less won the group, haven't you, on Europa?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so you home on Thursday?
Yeah.
Well, it's not a big deal really, and it's at home Monday, home Thursday, and you're already about 3-4 points clear at the top of the group, I'd imagine. True. So
it's just a little bit.
But the drum always bang with West Ham. You're not a very quick side, and I don't think. Well, you've got enough players to be quicker on the field, and the players you've bought who are very good with their feet. Well, take Cornet out of it because he hasn't really got going yet. You've got Skamaka, Paqueta. They're both very good with their feet. Neither of them are very quick. So if you want to give them space and let them play, you need pace around to drag defenders around.
We haven't really got that. Cornet's the only one that's got a bit of pace there. Rice can have bursts of pace, but he hasn't,
From what I've seen of Skamaka, he's at his best by reading the game, and rather than chasing every ball over the field at pace, which you probably can't do, is just dropping in the pockets. He's one of them. He's one of them sort of forwards. Obviously not as good, but he drops in the pockets a little bit like Berbatov used to. Do you know what I mean? Where he wants the ball 12 yards out. He wants the ball on the edge of the box with 2 or 3 yards space around him. So he's a bit more of a thinking man striker, I think. So you need to put pace around him. The likes of like Bowen. Bowen's probably not the most cleverest of footballer in the world, but he's got full of effort and can be dangerous. So you need players like him dragging defenders. He can't do that on his own sometimes. So
yeah, I agree.
And Paqueta the same. I think his start's been a bit iffy. He's had a few brilliant moments, and other times you'd be frustrated because he lost the ball sloppy. Again, that's probably because he's not used to the pace of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So if you're chucking players like that in at the deep end, they're not used to the pace of our league. You need to make sure that the rest of the team can create a bit more time for him.
Yeah, I can't disagree. Yeah.
But
I think that is an issue there. Is if we can get Paqueta bringing in players and having players have to just run with Paqueta because he's that dangerous.
Yeah.
And just causing some problems in the middle, and then getting Bowen and whoever out there just spreading the play out and then cutting back in and putting the balls in for Scamacca to meet with his head, which we know he can do. I think that's the way we've got to go about it. But it's just getting these players ready to go. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1 West Ham. That's positive, optimistic. Shaun.
Just reading through the comments on your little thing.
What? Conte to Juventus in January? Is that what you were reading?
I did read that. I think it's Corey. He said it something about last week as well. It's a bit of a lazy guess because Conte don't get on with the board at all at Juve. So and Juve are in a financial mess as well. So I wouldn't bet on that happening. And I think did they appoint Allegri already as well or something like that? Either way, anyway, that I'd be very shocked if that happens. Conte's not stupid. You said free. You said I've heard that he's more likely to sign a new contract and get a pay rise. So
pay rise. That's all he's looking for, pay rise.
Yeah. So would you say 3-1?
I said 3-1. Yeah.
Ooh. I'll say you'll edge it 2-1.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, 2-0, 3-1, something like that. I think that's what it will be. 2-1. Yeah,
I don't think Bournemouth have conceded many under this manager, have they?
Let's have a look, shall we? Just before we go.
I know they only lost 1-0 the other day. They beat Forest 3-2, didn't they? At Forest.
Let's have a look.
A lot of tight games, I think.
They play you after that. They conceded 1 to Leicester, none to Brentford, 1 to Newcastle. So they're not conceding great deals, but when West Ham, Paqueta and Scamacca come to town, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I think I chatted to you on Twitter the other day, and I think you've called it as well. You want to see what's the other striker's name? I forget his name.
Antonio,
yeah. There's too many strikers beginning with A. I was going to say Arnautovic. That's years ago.
Years ago.
I know you sort of calling for them both to play together, even for 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing is with Antonio, again, he's not the prettiest, but he's a handful, and he'll run all day. And that might be what you want to give Scamacca.
And that's two handfuls together then.
If you got two players that can do a little bit of magic now and again, but they're going to be a handful for the defenders, then you're going to free up space for your more probably talented striker forward to find the pockets. Because I've watched Scamacca for you. I watched him for Italy against England. He likes to drop in the pockets. He's one of them. He's not a traditional. I know he's quite big. He's not a traditional target man. I don't think he's going to give you a lot of joy running the channels in behind. I don't think he's lightning. So you've got to play these players' strengths. Otherwise, pointless bringing them in.
Yeah.
So I think playing Bowen on one side, and I don't know like a Fornells or a Lanzini, another one with not blistering pace on the other side. Who else has played on the other side?
Well, you could have Ben Rama out there.
Yeah, he's got a bit of trick about him, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think
people have called for a 4-4-2 to kind of have maybe a Rice and Downs as the two, and then maybe out on the right Bowen or whoever out on the left, just kind of sitting and then bursting up, and then Antonio and Scamacca picking up the.
The thing is, it won't be a 4-4-2, even if you think it's going to be that anyway, because you just don't see wingers in like a 4-4-2 in the Premier League anymore. So it'd almost be one of these weird sort of inverted diamonds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if that's going to happen, then you need to think, does Moyes have that in his locker? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Is he going to be that adventurous to play Scamacca, Antonio and jazz up the formation? I doubt it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it does sort of. You have to rip up the game plan a little bit. Like I wouldn't want Bowen hugging the right touchdown as the right winger. Do you know what I mean?
No.
He probably run out of a goal kick every 10 minutes. He needs to be running in field, but I don't know. If you want a variation of 4-4-2, then it'd have to be just a bit more fancier. Does Moyes do
Yeah.
that? I don't know. But if you want, if you don't get an early goal, then I think that's when the crowd might get restless, and you want Moyes to mix it up a little bit. I think.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That's the Premier League roundup show for another week. Thank you very much for everybody watching. Right, final cut. We're not going to talk about this, but I'm going to put it up. Corey, thank you very much. Shaun Conte is finished. BTEC Diego Simeone. There we go.
He's won loads more than Simeone, so I think he'd probably take offence to that.
Thank you very much for watching. Shaun, thank you very much. As always, interesting debate.
No worries, mate. No worries
Thank
at all.
you very much. From me, come on, you wines. We'll catch you soon. We'll catch you tomorrow night for the build-up show. West Ham versus Bournemouth, a must-win game for the Hammers. Thank you very much. Come on, you wines. We'll catch you soon. See you next week, Shaun.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
mate. See you later.